Hi, in this video we are going to cover best practice for using listing table in Incorta Dashboard. In Incorta Dashboard, you can see detailed transactions in listing table. The whole idea is to slice and dice data and then look at all the transactions in the detailed table that you can add along with other insights in the Incorta Dashboard. Listing table allows you to use attributes under grouping dimension as well as under measure, or you can use attributes only under measure. Now there are pros and cons of using this approach, and that's what I'm going to cover in this video. So let's get started. Let me show you a small demo and then we'll go over it where it makes sense to use listing table. Let me open this dashboard. So first of all, a listing table is very useful to look at all the transactions. This sales overview dashboard shows you different insights about 50 million sales transactions, retail transactions. In the bottom, you have detail table, which is built using listing table. It shows you first 1,000 records of 50 million transactions. And it's pretty easy to slice and dice this data using this dashboard and also sort this data in this details table. So for example, if I want to see all the transactions for a store with the highest sales, all I need to do is click on this, and this listing table now is going to show me all the transactions here for that particular store. And now I can sort this data by date or by any other attribute in this listing table. Now let's go over it. What are the best practice to use this listing table? Because I've seen some confusion around it, and sometimes users have complained that's not performing. So let's create a small listing table and go over some of those scenarios. Now you can see there are multiple tables listed here. I'm going to use listing table, and the whole idea of listing table is look at the data at the lowest granularity. Now problem here is sometimes you can add dimensions here and measure here, or you can use all the attributes here. Now this is not like aggregated table where you add any attribute in the measure. Incorta is going to calculate either using sum or average or whatever calculation you want to do using that. Listing table will never do that. Listing table, even if you add attribute here, for example, I want to see store key and sales transactions. It's not doing any sum or average or whatever for this. It's just showing you data at the lowest granularity. You can add a transaction type attribute also under measure. It is going to show you the value of transaction type. It's not going to do any operation, mathematical operation on top of that. Only aggregated table will do that. Now, what is the problem if I use grouping dimension here? See, one of the issue with this is, let's add some more attribute and you will see that. Now, if I add promotion key here, though it gives me a few of these things for free, for example, it will sort data by store key and promotion key and then show me other attributes I've used in measure. I don't have to do this sorting or specify the sorting like you will do when you use all the attributes under measure. I will show you that in a minute. But another problem that this approach brings is, let me add, say, date key here. Now you will notice here that you are getting this warning message that you need to show the max group limit so that this query can be processed by Incorta engine. Now this is a good thing that Incorta is protecting the server by any expensive query that user can send to the server. That's why there is a setting here which is advanced setting max groups. Default value for this is I think 500,000. You can set it at the tenant level as well so that user cannot exceed that value no matter what they add here. And you can go to community and search on how does max groups parameter works, and there's a very nice article which explains how to use that. So performance is one reason you should not be using this. It's not going to perform really well. It gives you sorting for free, but it's not going to perform. Oh, sorry. Now, my recommendation is always drag all the columns under measure. See what happens here. I dragged all the column and within few seconds, it is going to show me all the values here, right? I can save it, and now sorting is going to work on all the columns. I can click on sort for any of this column. It is going to work. This does not work with when you add attributes in the grouping dimension and measure in the attributes in the measure dimension. If you click on sales in that scenario, it's not going to sort correctly because sorting is taken over by Incorta. It sorts data using dimension that you have added in the grouping dimension. But here sorting is going to work for all of these. That's one major advantage. Another is performance. Of course, you can have like 30, 40, 50, up to 100 columns. This is going to perform. Now, this problem becomes more severe here, especially when you're using grouping dimension. If you have any attribute which has large number of unique values, then the performance is going to be really bad because max group setting has to be really high. Incorta requires more memory to process that data, and again, that's why I do not recommend using it like this. Either it's going to fail if you don't have the setting, or it's going to ask you to provide the setting, right? So again, unless you have some reason to use it this way based on the look and feel of the table or whatever is the reason, I will not recommend. If you can drag and drop columns here and use it here like this, always recommend to use it like this. Do not use this grouping dimension unless you have to. Always use this to design your listing table, and this gives you also ability to sorting, a default sorting by using this sort by, right? So I want to sort this data by default using sales transactions. All I need to do is just bring this here, and now by default it will be sorted by sales. So you have all of those options, and you can do sorting ascending or descending or whatever you like. So again, use this if you can. Don't add columns under grouping dimension for listing table, and this will give you the best performance.